Two players for the Baltimore Ravens out for a very long time. They were injured in preseason games. The head coach, John Harbaugh, he responded by saying that the NFL preseason is too long. Here's Tyoka Jackson, and now he's a former NFL defensive lineman and a frequent guest on this program. Tyoka, welcome back.
Welcome to Good Back, man. I appreciate you bringing me on again.
You just love being interviewed by a guy who knows nothing about football. Now, the preseason, two Ravens players badly injured, probably out for the season, and the coach says, hey, enough already, this is too long. You'd agree with that, wouldn't you?
I do. Yeah. They're unnecessary games. They're meaningless. They don't do anything for a team long term in terms of changing their roster or scoreboard in terms of the games that count. These coaches know exactly who's going to make the team, save about 2 or 3 guys, Stuart. It's probably about 2 to 5 places on that roster that are up for grabs. For the rest of it, we already know. And so we have rosters that are, 53 men, and you go through these 4 preseason games. That's quarter of a season. Then you start a 16-game season. It's really unnecessary.
Yeah. It seems like the weight of the players and the speed of the players and just the intensity of the hits. I mean, you're laughing because you know perfectly well that I don't know what I'm talking about, but I think I've got an insight here. How can you have a longer season when the players are taking hits the way they're taking them now? I'm with you all the way. You've got to shorten this thing.
That's football right there. Just think of this. In college, you have upwards of 100+ guys on the roster, and guess how many preseason games they play, Stuart?
Tell me.
None.
Right.
None.
Yeah.
And yet, college football has never been more exciting. You can get it done without preseason games. You can play, you can have practices, you can have scrimmages that are scaled down with less contact. And I would argue that the product on the field on Sundays in which the fans want really to see the game, the product will be better.
Tyoka, I've got one suggestion and I'll move on. You should consider rugby. No pads, no helmets, just that's a man's game. No,
Why did I know that was coming? Why did I know that was coming?
The 49ers quarterback, Colin Kaepernick, okay? I think his career's ended. He sits down during the anthem. He says he's going to keep on sitting down to protest injustice. I say he's ended his career. You say what?
Wow, I so hope you're wrong. You know, obviously, football is a really big, important part of the American pastime. We love this game. But in sports, we've seen it throughout history. A lot of athletes have voiced their opinions. I mean, I think it's very ironic when you look at, let's say, Muhammad Ali, who spoke out against injustices back in the day, who took a very unpopular stance and risked it all, and then at his death, he was reviled by no one, loved by everyone. And now here in 2016, we have a young player of color who's standing up for what he believes in, and he seems to be public enemy #1. I think it's overreaction.
Okay. I'll have my 2 cents worth. I think what he said and what he did is extremely divisive. And I think that's a problem in America today. I'd like to see America come together. I don't want to see it further divided. Last word to you. Go ahead.
Well, I'll say this. If you are more upset about a young man sitting down during the national anthem than you were, say, of a guy who was a mental health professional getting shot while laying on his back with his hands up saying, don't shoot me, I think you're probably, and I'm not talking about you personally, but whoever feels that way is probably needs to reevaluate their stance as an American.
Okay. This is a good debate. You got to come back more often, okay? And then we'll talk more rugby. Okay.
Listen, the only way we can get this squared away is just by talking. I mean, that's the whole thing. We got to come together and talk this thing through. And empathy. We need more empathy in this world.
Okay, come on to the show. I want you on more, okay?
You need to bring me to New York, man, so we can really talk this thing through. I mean, I'd love that.
We'll see. All right, Tyoka Jackson. Thank you very much, sir.
I won't hold my breath. Thanks, buddy.